The blackest eyes, the devil's eyes. Why don't we just wait here for a little while, see what happens?
Do you want to die, Sidney?
For England, James? No.
We all go a little mad sometimes.
Fill your hand, you son of a bitch!
Look what you did to him!
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
As you can see, I'm not happy.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Macho Movie Madness.
Oh, yeah?
I am Brandon, unfortunately, today. and unfortunately, Andrew is joining me again.
Yeah.
And I know that I sound somber, and that's because I am. Because this is all your fault.
Community forum.
Yeah, you community forum people.
Making us do something we don't want to do.
What was the percentage of votes on this shit?
68% wanted to see these Terminator sequels, what I call the non-canon sequels, anything after T2, up against each other. And there were some decent movies on there, like Top Gun versus Iron Eagle. What else did we have? Like the Mad Max movies. But you all decided you wanted to see this.
Yeah,
and
you knew how we felt, didn't you?
Yeah,
you knew what this was going to be like. You did this on purpose.
Slam my Jimmy in the door.
No shit. Just kick me right in it. Just rear back and just give it the old yahoo.
But yeah, thank you guys so much for this.
Yeah, so we were trying to think, should we do like our first verses where it's just like we can figure out which the worst one is? But we decided to still do it the traditional way. We're going to do the best of the worst here. So which one's better? We're doing Terminator 3 versus Terminator Salvation. Terminator 3 Rise of the Machines, if you will.
If
you will, baby. So Terminator 3 was released 2003. It'd be 12 years after Terminator 2.
Yeah.
Terminator Salvation was in 2009, 6 years after that. Jonathan Mastow is the director of Terminator 3 Rise of Machines, and I don't know his full name, I read it earlier and I can't remember it now, but Mick G. Which just pisses me off, dude. Come on. Like, what are you doing?
That's pretentious.
Yeah, Mick G is your name? Really? Professionally?
McG, supersize that for me, please.
Yeah, you supersize this Terminator movie, you fuck. Alright, so here's the deal. You suck, by the way. $187.3 million was the budget of Terminator 3. $200 million was the budget for Terminator Salvation.
Wow.
Terminator Salvation made $371.4 million.
That's still a lot of money.
That sucks. When your budget's $200 million.
Yeah.
But with $187 million on the other end, Terminator 3 made $433.4, it says. So, better return for sure. And probably rightfully so, we'll get into that. Okay. We're going to do this. We're going to get this going. So, normal categories, except for the end. Well, and we've used this category before as well. Story is number 1. Settings, number 2. Acting, action, and the last is protagonists. We didn't even think of a tiebreaker. I don't know. We're gonna wing it.
Yeah, we'll figure something out.
We got Kenny's picks. We're gonna go along with it. Story. What do we have for story? What's the story here? You want to give us a breakdown of stories for these?
I was just going to go straight into my picks.
Let's just go straight into picks then.
And I'll kind of cover that in my picks.
Okay, let's do that. Let's do it. Start with story.
I'm going to go Terminator Salvation, and I know you probably hate that because to me, Terminator 3 is kind of a rehash of Terminator 2. And then you've got the whole no fate but what we make, and they throw that out the window, and that just pisses me off from the get-go, that this far superior movie that you say is now irrelevant due to what's going on here. But you basically got Nick Stahl, who we'll get to in acting, playing John Connor, living off the grid, and these two Terminators come after him. One's kind of a hyped up T-1000, can control machines. One's old reliable Uncle Bob, T-800. So only this isn't Uncle Bob. He doesn't have a whole lot of presence, this version of Arnold, to me anyway.
No, he doesn't.
It's them trying to get where they're going and avoid Judgment Day. In Salvation, you've got, the bombs go off at the end of T3, spoilers. In Salvation, this is your first, what do you want to call it, future war movie. We always wanted to see a future war movie, those scenes from T1 and T2 that are so good. And
this ain't it.
This ain't it.
This ain't it.
This is nothing like that. But what I did like about this story is you got the whole thing. They've got this. Kyle Reese is in this. Anton Yelchin plays him, he's since passed on. A really good actor plays Kyle Reese. And you've got John Connor, played by Christian Bale, trying to find him in this and make sure he doesn't die. At the same time, you've got the signal that they found, and they think it's going to shut down the machines. It turns out the machines planted the signal so they'd find it, and it was a homing beacon straight to them. And I liked that little bit of it. I'd actually, until I watched this last week, forgot what the plot even was to this thing.
Forgettable.
That's why I'm going to choose Terminator Salvation. I know Kenny chose Terminator 3. What did you say?
I picked Terminator 3. And it is rehashed, but I still will always maintain the thought that if you're going to do something like the Terminator, it always needs to take place in the past. I like that whole thing about it. You can rehash it all you want. I don't care about that. I just want it to be fought in the past. I think you get better interactions, you have more to deal, you have more to work with. I don't know if I really necessarily want to see a 2 or 2.5 hour long movie of machines just running over people. I think if you had cut-ins where it kind of did both, it'd be okay.
That's where the first two movies work, because it's just that's exactly what the future was.
And I mean, the thing is, if I might feel differently if Salvation was that same future war from Terminator 2. Because that's something we all want to see. I think, like the game Terminator Resistance, they just came out with a few years ago. It was the same people that made RoboCop, the new RoboCop game.
So I need to check it out.
So apparently people love it. I need to play it, but apparently it's, there's a lot of fan service there. It's in the future, but that's something you want to see, and I would be interested in seeing that. Just to, if it'll change my mind. But right now, I didn't get any of that out of Salvation, and I'm over Christian Bale. Sam Worthington's okay. It was just nothing to me. That John Connor, even though he was more badass than Nick Stahl's John Connor, I just didn't get anything out of it, man. It just wasn't that good. It's forgettable. I don't have any interest in really watching it again. At least 3 I can go back and watch every now and then. And it's not good. But it's not as bad.
And I hadn't watched any of these movies in over 10 years, and I didn't hate them as bad as I thought I was going to.
I mean, they're not the worst movies ever.
They're unnecessary.
They're so unnecessary. I mean, and we can get into that in the newer ones too when we talk about those one day. I'm going to go T3 just for that simple fact. I mean, I would prefer that story, and I prefer that timeline more so than the future war, unless you're going to give me a proper future war.
I think I like Salvation a little more in that regard, just because it dares to try to do something different. Fails in every way.
I mean, I'll give you that. It tried. It did tried, something different.
But it's T3 going over on that, not going to hurt my feelings at all.
And it suffers... like so many movies around that time, 8, 9-ish, all the way up to 12, 13, at least 12. Movies suffered from this terrible filter Like everything was so gritty and everything was so monochromatic looking.
Yeah, it is very.
And it's very much like that. There's no there. You got to have a little bit of vibrant stuff to stand out to I mean really accent the movie. I think
that's a good segue to go into setting.
Yeah, I think so. And that's one of those things where I'm going to pick T3 again for setting because it's in the past. You have more, and it doesn't have the best colors either. I mean, when you look at like Terminator 2. It was really rich and lit well. There's a lot of blue lighting.
Yeah,
but the darks were dark, the blues were blue. Everything looked really good and vibrant.
That late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah, and it maintained that way up until the late 90s and early 2000s. For whatever reason, this movie does not look as good as that, but it still looks way better than the 09 to 12 movies.
Yeah.
So
they also a lot of movies from that period too, from like the mid 2000s on, are just incredibly dark. And there's like a scene in the beginning where they're raiding this place, and you see Marcus's body laying there. Mm-hmm. I remember seeing this in the theater, and like I couldn't tell what was going on.
No,
like it's really overly dark.
Yeah.
I'm also gonna go T3, but I don't think any of them are all that spectacular.
No.
I kind of wanted to go Salvation again. But it's just not historically accurate. Skynet's in San Francisco, and there's not crap in the streets everywhere. So.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, what is that?
But I like the way that 3 was lit, and some of the locations were pretty cool, like that graveyard scene.
Yeah, the graveyard scene is always going to be the one that stands out to me the most. I think in that movie,
the scene where they all converge on that veterinary clinic that what's her name in this movie?
I don't remember.
Works at
Claire Danes.
Claire Danes.
Yeah, Catherine Brewster.
Catherine Brewster.
She's your wife.
I like how that was lit. Kind of about like the sodium lights outside.
Yeah.
I think setting wise, I'm gonna have to go T3.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
and of course, Kenny did too.
Yeah, Kenny did too. Okay. Well, there's 2 to T3. Acting. I don't think the acting was bad in Salvation. I've said, I'm over Christian Bale. I think he's a great actor. I don't hate any of his performances. I'm just over him and his methodness. He was kind of nothing to me in this movie, but he's not bad. I don't think that Nick Stahl and Claire Danes did a bad job in 3. I think that they, acting-wise, did great. I don't like their characters.
I think they were miscast.
They probably were. But at the same time, I think they gave it the old college try. I don't think they were. I think the only downfall of 3, like you said, was Arnold. And that's crazy for me because Arnold's one of my favorite action stars of all time.
Yeah, he's got none of that.
And he's so good.
None of that, what's the word? Charisma that he had in either of the first 2 Terminator movies.
I don't know what was going on.
Talk to the hand.
I don't. And the thing is when you go back, because he was winding down on movies and he was going into politics about this time. It was right before he became governor. And, he was starting to show his age here. He did get back in shape, into like T2 shape.
Yeah.
I remember like going back and watching this not long ago. I'm like, God damn, he's jacked and he's older here. You could see the age in his face, but he's still, and the thing is too, is you're also going back after a few years and watching it after you see, like if you see Arnold now in a movie, or even 10 years ago, like
he
in The Last
doesn't even
Stand.
show this much of his arms.
Yeah, like he just when you look at 10 years ago Arnold or now Arnold, and then you go back and watch this, you're like, wow, he was still a physical specimen back then. But he just, for whatever reason, I don't know, it just didn't do it.
Very
wooden in this.
I thought the best actor in this movie, for the 4 or 5 lines of dialogue that he got, I love the cameo. Earl Bowen as Dr. Silberman.
Yes.
That to me was like the best part of this entire movie. Things that'll make you think crazy things.
Yeah.
Insane things. That was delivered so well.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
I'm actually gonna go the other way. I don't hate Claire Danes and Nick Stahl. I think they probably belonged in a different movie. Christian Bale doesn't bother me, obviously, as much as he does you. Sam Worthington, I thought, was okay. I really liked the chemistry between him and the actor Blair, played by, I think her name's Moon Bloodgood or something. Mm-hmm. The pilot that he rescues there. I like the chemistry that they have. Anton Yelchin in this movie as Kyle Reese, what little bit he was in it was really good. There was no just awful performances in it for me. Nothing really stands out as great, but there's nothing I'm looking at and going, ooh, that could have been done better. So I'm going to go Salvation on this one.
I didn't even actually pick. I'm going to go Salvation too.
Oh, okay.
I know I was talking up T3 more, but
I just assumed you were going T3.
I'm going to go Salvation. I know I'm over Christian Bale, but him and everybody else were still good. Like you said, Nick. I don't think Nick Stahl or Claire Danes was necessarily bad in this. I just don't. Like you said, they were miscast, and Arnold was the biggest disappointment. So that kind of knocks it.
Yeah.
The lady Terminator. Didn't really do it for me. Didn't sell it well. I don't like that Terminator. T-1000 is way better.
Yeah.
Even though this is supposed to be a better model. You got one naked scene with her, right?
Yeah, and they put so much bronzer and tan on her, it ruined the scene. If you're a heterosexual guy,
I know. Yeah.
It's like, wait a minute. What? At least we got the back shot.
Yeah,
I guess.
Then
I hate her character. Like, there's a scene
not good
there where Claire Danes' boyfriend is on the bed and she's sitting there and she turns all the way around at the waist and looks at him, and it's just the stupid shot.
Yeah.
And there's another scene where her head turns all the way around like The Exorcist.
Yeah.
And I'm like, guys, that looks goofy.
Yeah, don't do that.
The humor in this movie is awful. The talk to the hand.
Yeah.
All that junk. And when I see that, she is not intimidating as the Terminator. She should be, the way she can control things, but it just, it pisses me off.
I know. It does me too.
It could have been so much better.
I know. There are two or three really good, strong scenes that are serious or heartfelt or whatever between John and Claire at the end. Yeah. The stuff in the graveyard, like where they were talking about Sarah and her dying of leukemia. There's different things that in the movie that are really good. But yeah, for everything you have that's good, you have 3 or 4 more things that are just trash, and you're like, what is this? I'm just giving it Salvation, whatever. I'm not a big fan of that movie, but just because it's at least a little bit more like straight cut, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. You're in the future. What else? What more can you do? Action.
Straight up T3.
I have to go T3 on action. There's just way more going on. That graveyard scene was awesome.
Yeah. Him
coming out holding the casket or whatever, full of, I guess it wouldn't have had the guns in at that point. They had guns before, but John was in there, and he's just blasting. Of course, he turns in slow motion, and the doctor sees him. He's like, oh shit, and then recognizes immediately and takes off running.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good stuff. Car chases are good in this. The end is really good with the plane, and the fight in the hangar. Yeah. That was awesome.
My favorite bit of action in this thing is from the time they leave the vet clinic clear up until after the graveyard scene. That whole thing is a chase, and the whole deal through the streets where Arnold's hanging off the crane and he's going through buildings. I remember seeing that in the theater back in the day and going, oh my gosh, that is awesome.
Yeah.
That's the best part of the movie to me.
Oh, for sure.
The reason to watch this is that whole little act right there. Mm-hmm. The rest of it, it is.
Yeah, and I feel the same. There's just not a lot going on. There's some decent stuff in Salvation, but my favorite part was John and the T-800.
Yeah,
and even CGI Arnold in 2009 wasn't that bad looking.
Yeah,
but
it was fan service. Really,
it was fan service for sure. But I liked it. That was at least something different.
Yeah, there was some chase stuff with. And what kills me about the action in Terminator Salvation is this is supposed to be like several years before the future we saw in Terminator 1 even.
Yeah.
And you saw the technology they had. And this, when they abduct Red and Kyle, they go into this ship and this robot thing comes up out of it. They got Moto Terminators. It's like, what the heck?
Yeah.
Where did this come from? I know they're trying to do their own thing.
I know, but
some of that chase stuff with like the little Terminator bikes, I kind of liked.
It was okay.
Yeah.
There's just nothing. I don't know. Maybe I'm just being too harsh because I like 1 and 2 so much. But I just don't like. You're trying too much.
Yeah,
you're too much.
I don't think this category is even close.
No, I don't think so either. So yeah, there it is. We have a winner already, but whatever. Let's go to the last one. You can tell we're just thrilled. So we couldn't figure out even another new category, so we just went with an older one that we've used in the past, and that's its protagonists. I would give it to Salvation, only because I know I'm probably going to sound like I'm contradicting myself, but I mean, you got Sam Worthington and Christian Bale as John Connor, and then Marcus. They're just better protagonists, and they're a little bit more badass.
Yeah.
In this, than Nick Stahl and Claire Danes.
Yeah, they are.
I mean, what can you do? I mean, it's they really tried to. They went a different route with John Connor in 3, trying to do something different, but he was just a little bit too mopey. He wasn't the same John Connor. He wasn't even the same John Connor that he was in 2. Like, he was a lot more of a fighter and spunkier in 2. Edward Furlong was...
Yeah, here he's defeated.
Here he's just defeated. And I know his mom died in this. He got leukemia. I don't know. It just seemed very much not like... Well, I guess maybe because he thought it was over and they were saved, that he could do that. But I don't know. It just didn't sit well.
I prefer him as Christian Bale in this one.
At least he was a fighter.
Yeah, and he's not in command. You watch this movie, you're like, how is he not the leader of the resistance?
I know.
And he's not at that point yet.
Yeah.
But nobody will listen to the people in power. They all listen to John.
Right.
And so he's got a little bit of that presence that he was lacking in Terminator 3.
Yeah.
And so I like that about Salvation, even though he's not really even the most interesting character in the movie.
He's not.
Because you got this Marcus hybrid thing.
I know.
And so... I don't know. I thought they were good. I thought some of the supporting characters, like the Kyle Reese character, like that pilot Blair, I thought all of them were pretty good. I thought Bryce Dallas Howard was kind of wasted.
She was, and I love her to death and everything. So yeah, she's amazing as an actress.
It's crazy to think about. I was watching this. Of course, they picked Claire Danes for Terminator 3, and then of course they stayed with the redheaded motif for her for. Do you think she's that little girl from Terminator 2 that the T-1000 asked where John is the Galleria, right?
Oh, yeah,
the little redheaded
maybe.
Girl.
She's right over there.
You think that's supposed to be her?
I don't know. Maybe. I never even thought about that before.
Yeah, I was watching that the other day. I'm like, that's interesting.
Interesting, yeah. I don't know. Catherine Brewster was a weird character to me, too. Yeah. I have to go Salvation, man. I have to. I don't know. There's just not... and I know that, like, Nick Stahl's John, at the end of 3... basically had to accept fate, like it was never, and that was ballsy.
I like that ending.
It was a ballsy move to say, it was never stoppable.
Yeah.
This is always going to happen. We just have to deal with it. Part of me still hates that though, because it does just shit on everything.
It undermines Terminator 2.
Yeah, and dude, you know how I feel about Terminator 2.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. So that kind of pisses me off in a way, but it is ballsy. I'll give him that. But he did kind of get that little moment at the end when they were under attack and there was distress calls into the bunker, and he's like, I'm John Connor, and I'm in charge. Who's in charge there? I am. And so he had that moment of clarity, but it still just doesn't
make up the other hour and 50 minutes.
Yeah, of him just being a mopey drunk. Yeah. I don't know. I'm going to go Salvation on it. It's kind of an easier choice for us.
Yeah.
But that's still 3-2 in the favor of Terminator 3. Kenny goes Terminator 3 across the board.
And I feel indifferent about that.
Well, I just don't. I guess I don't give a shit about either one of these movies that much. I'll watch 3 every now and then if I'm in a Terminator mood. I'll watch 1, 2, maybe 3 every now and then. I'll watch 1 and 2 all the time. But
I actually put these on the poll just to see if you guys wanted to hear us rant. And apparently you did. So congratulations. This is what you got.
Yeah, this movie is dog shit. Terminator 3 is dog shit. And Terminator Salvation is dog shit.
And don't even get us started on the last 2.
No, they're going to.
These look like Citizen Kane compared to those last 2.
Well, I can say we'll get to the last 2, I'm sure.
Yeah.
If you want us to rant about those, we will do that.
I might put up a terrible, terrible poll, and then you can choose between that and like Alien Resurrection and Alien 3 or something.
Oh God, what have you done?
This
Shut the hell up, Andrew. Don't make me watch Alien 3 again.
If we're gonna do it, let's go all out.
Okay. You know, and like there's different things in Genesis and Dark Fate that I like, but and they're shot fairly well, obviously with the budget and technology nowadays. I mean, it's kind of hard to not have a few good moments, but
so far removed from 1 and 2
for sure. Yeah, for sure. Anyway, well, we got several things coming down the pike that are going to be much more enjoyable. We just did Samurai Cop for Warehouse B. That was a lot of fun. Yeah. I recommend watching that. We got another one coming up with Leprechaun.
Yeah,
because we're gonna be back into horror for a short spell.
Yeah,
I mean, you say horror, I don't even know what it is.
Yeah, scary as Ernest Scared Stupid.
Yeah,
probably less.
Maybe less. I think Ernest Goes to Camp is scarier. But
we do got another versus coming up.
We do, yeah. Roadhouse versus Point Break.
Yeah, little Patrick Swayze.
So, with that said, we're gonna get out of here because I'm just kind of pissed about this whole Terminator thing. So until next time, we're out of here.